First thing, check the kill switch.
So we got nothing. It's been sitting for a long time. The fuel's gonna be no good in it. We're gonna go ahead and drain the gas tank. Crack the door. Old gas is, it's not great, or it's great, depending on what you want. And let her buck. I'm gonna verify that it's a fuel issue. I have a fire extinguisher handy, in case you get a backfire or something like that. A good way to kind of troubleshoot. I'll just pop off the air filter here. I just have fuel in this container here. Good ventilation, got a fan going. So that verifies that we have a fueling condition. So I'm gonna go ahead now and take out the car, get this gas tank off. Careful not to touch your tools on your battery posts. So do that guy. These connectors, so make sure you don't pull on the wires. Got another bolt in here, and just slide it off the rubber grommets there. And then we're gonna pull the airbox off. You can see this airbox wasn't even seated properly. So we got this off. We have some melting here, so it looks like somebody maybe sprayed some ether or brake clean or something in there and tried to get her going. And so this goes on to this guy here. So we're gonna have to figure something out. I doubt these things are even available anymore. They're probably discontinued, so sometimes you gotta get creative. This carb's not even in there really, so I have to see what's going on with the boot there. That's why you put something over the battery terminals, because you start welding pretty much. You see in there, these are the little Allens that you got to tighten up to get those boots on. Obviously they're a giant pain to get at. So when you get the carb to this point, you're going to want to be very careful of any plastic fittings like this. Those are really easy to snap. This is just from the choke. Shouldn't be too tight in there. Of course you can't get wrenches in there usually, but so whoever was working on this before was in a pretty big rush, so take your time or else you'll probably regret it. Okay, so we got that out there. That's all that is, so that doesn't look too bad. This, on the other hand, doesn't look great. So I'm just gonna pop this guy off here for the petcock, and then I'll be able to get the carb kind of free here. So this guy was definitely in there backwards. So sometimes if you look at it and clean the crap off, you can see it says up on there. If that goes up, and it looks like this locates around that. As tight as you can like that, and then gotta work at it. So you might want a rag or something to catch any fuel. Tear it up so you don't forget. Usually people do these way too tight, so you might need like a impact driver. You can get it from Princess Auto or Harbor Freight or whatever. Okay, so this actually looks not too bad. So this one would probably just blow it out. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little float needle in there. So if that guy is stiff and doesn't feel like a little spring there, then you got to pull that out and soak it. For carb cleaner, I use this Honda stuff. Seems to work the best. Go to the Honda store and get some. It doesn't affect your any rubber components or anything. All the other stuff will swell these seals and all that kind of stuff and make a big mess. But this seems to work really good. So just put some of that in there and it'll get rid of those deposits. So I'd pull pull out the main jet here. In here, there's a little flat blade. This is the pilot jet, a low idle circuit, and that is usually what plugs up. It's a pretty small jet, so I can't see any light at all through it, so it's a little plugged up. We'll let that sit for a bit. All right, so it's been sitting for a bit. This one has the accelerator pump on there. I don't really want to take that off unless I have to. Now you can see right through it. Make sure you get these side holes as well. Watch your eyes, obviously. Put your hearing protection and eye protection on, or do the squint. Give it a blow through the bottom also. This is where you definitely want to watch your eyes. All these orifices here. Give them a good blow. This is the one you want to worry about right here the most. If you get stuff spraying out here, that's a good, it's definitely a good sign. Pilot adjustment. So your pilot screw. Down here, you gotta watch for, this is usually a little O-ring and a little tiny washer. And most of the time they get stuck up in there, so that's how this spring will be the O-ring and washer, which I don't know if it's even in there. Found a little neoprene washer there. And steel washer goes on the spring. Those guys together. Sometimes they can be seated up in there and you got to dig them out with a kind of a hook tool like that. So now we're just going to blow out that orifice. Give them all one good shot. And that should happen. If it doesn't want to come up, then you got a torn neoprene boot in there, and you'll have to go into the top. If you do go in the top there, there's a little tiny O-ring up in there that controls the high pressure, low pressure for the diaphragm. So be careful not to lose that. And then when you're lining this thing back up, it's like a big O-ring with a diaphragm. And make sure it's lined up really well before you put the cap on. Don't pinch it. It's going to cause you a lot of grief. Maybe next time I'll be doing that, but right now we're just going to get this thing going. Okay, let's put the jets back in and make sure screw. Hang on to the parts really well and make sure the points not all gummed up. So you want to lightly seat this. Don't usually set it about 2.5 turns to start. So there's half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. That's a good baseline. All right, now we'll put the main jet and the pilot jet back in. Then make sure your tools are clean so you don't plug these jets up. And just snug. All right, Make sure this O-ring is still in good shape, not pinched anywhere. Same thing, guys usually crank the holy hell out of these screws too, so you can't get them out and they're all stripped. I like to leave them a little bit loose until you get them all in there, just to get them located properly. You don't want that too tight. Be careful not to poke a hole in the rubber boot there. Get this guy back on there. So I have these little compression clamps here. You might want to just use a regular kind of little hose clamp or whatever, but I recommend using something. If it's super tight, just a little bit of engine oil on there will be fine. Now we can put her back in here. This clamp, there's a little tab there. It's going to sit against this part of the carb body. And we just want to make sure she's seated in there good without breaking any of this stuff. Usually feel it kind of click into place. There it is. Now I gotta tighten her up. Again, doesn't have to be crazy tight. Make sure this guy's tight. Alright, we're gonna get weird here. Size of this fuel line is about the same as the size of the spigot that was on there, so that'll definitely work. See, the idle screw here is broken. It should have a cable that comes down and attaches here, so you can actually adjust the idle, so that might get interesting. Also gonna have to find one of those. Something to look out for. Get all your hoses routed properly. They'll kind of pull on the fuel lines and all that kind of stuff if you're mashing them in there, so make sure you get them in there the right way. And get all your little clamps on there. I don't know if y'all can see, but there's this hose here. Come from the airbox. It's attached to, I don't know if you can see that brass spigot up in there. So make sure you get all this stuff put together properly. Take a look at it before you take it apart. And good luck with that. And I forgot to put the bracket on there. And then this guy here just has a spring on it. See that? This looks like it's going to be a bit to get on there. Let's start at the top and work your way around on the inside. On there, don't want it crazy tight, so we'll cut it right about there. Adjustable clamp here. For this side, so we can take the tank off. This OEM line is obviously fitted for this to have the smaller spigot on the carburetor. Don't know why they do that, but see how that works. You want to make sure it's not leaking out. Bottom of the carb. Looks like it's all right so far. All right, moment of truth. Still hasn't run for a while. So this is where I'm gonna have a problem with that broken idle adjustment. One of these tools, you can get them for like 15 bucks. So I'll link it on Amazon. Just barely see it. I don't know if you can see it. So to adjust the mixer screw, you gotta have the airbox and everything on there. But I don't have that luxury really, so get it just, so it's just idling.
Slowly turn the screw in until you hear it kind of die. There you go. And you count the turns coming out. It's half. 1. 1.5. 2. 2.5. Now it's bobbling a little bit. So now you split 2.5 and that's how you turn it in there. So I'm going to start with just 1.25 here.
That should be where you want to be. So it should come off idle like that. Real nice. Get that airbox on. And that's how she's supposed to run right there. So you want to see it charging over probably 12.5, 12.8. This one, the idle's a little bit low, so it's not quite charging high enough, but that kept your bike out of the dealership. Probably 2 weeks waiting time right now, and probably saved you about 500 bucks. So that's why we do this.